And look, you mentioned, and then Papa Bear, I promise, audience polls right after this comment. But just because there are so many people that will hear what Shanti said about like, oh, if a girl of color or a woman of color is missing, there's a good chance nobody, is even going to know about it. And that seems like a sort of like, oh, of course she would say that kind of thing. By the way, it's also a really great Patrice O'Neill joke from the stand-up Elephant in the Room. But so go watch Elephant in the Room. Shout out to Patrice O'Neill. I just did behind all of your backs. I have a secret. Look at you.
Well done.
You freaking a-holes. Just looking behind you. What a bunch of geeks. Anyway, I love it. Yeah, what a bunch of yahoos. Anyway, I Googled now this is dangerous in 2025. I Googled young black girl escapes. I just wanted to see.
What did you get? That's terrifying to Google that.
The entire first page, Shanti, were different stories of 12 and 11-year-old girls escaping kidnapping that you've never heard of from 2024.
Oh dear.
So this happens so often, you wouldn't believe it. I didn't even go to the second page. It's probably pages and pages. This is happening all over the country and all over the world, Chris, and you don't hear anything about it. And women young girls are escaping captivity all the time, apparently.
Chris, here's the point, though.
It's shocking.
So, and here's the thing you can also do behind our backs, right? How about you do the other one, which is young black girl, young missing black girl found. Because there's a difference. And I think that's the point that Shanti is making. Yeah. Exactly. Because that's the other part of it. I think because there have been statistics. We've seen this in different times in our lives.
I'm doing it right now.
They'll share the statistics about, how many girls of color are found versus those who are not of color, and how many of them have been found. They even talk about the press coverage of them, right, and how they're different.
So here's the thing about that. I went on a whole deep dive because I was doing this story and I was doing the interviews, and we all sort of know in general that, women are not looked for enough, period. And unless you're a cute little white girl, you don't end up on the news. So therefore, there's a lot of people not being found. But the thing is, they can't do statistics on what they don't know. Right. So, there are so many lists of Caucasian women that are missing, and the lists of people of other colors are just not complete, not made, not tracked, not counted. And of course, they don't actually do lists of white girls and black girls, but the facts are that most black women do not end up on these lists. So they end up being lists of mostly white women. And that's for like a number of reasons that you really, again, cannot pin down. It's, the police don't always believe that they're actually missing. The families don't actually report them because they're homeless, or there's just about a million reasons for this difficult issue, which is why to make a movie like this, right? It's not to point fingers and blame and say, oh, look, the world is racist and there's nothing you can do about it. It's actually not that at all. It's, we should be having these conversations so that we can start getting a hold of this problem and understanding that this is a real thing. There are a lot of women who are in need of help, and, and also as women who might end up needing help, it's kind of interesting to see what other women might do. I think there's a little sickness in women watching true crime. I think that's why we do it. We want to know, like, what should we do if we end up in this situation?
Right. I think that's the exact way. I think that's the exact way to promote it. I think people are going to go out and watch it in droves for that reason. And align. There's actually a podcast called Black Girl Missing Podcast, and I would say after this podcast, that would be the next one I would
love
because
to.
Because I think that audience would just watch this movie right away. And, that Google search, Nick, was kind of sad. I did it. I did what you asked. And almost every one of them was black girl found dead. So it was kind of unfortunate.
Ooh.
But so I'll
I've been down that rabbit hole before, my friend.
Escapes is a little bit more hopeful. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
On that dour note.